All right, and we're live May 5th at 3:15 London time. And Sam can't be with us today, so we could do a people-focused Scrum. Although, Brian, which did you do? You had you and
I had
Pete,
a
or
people
you guys
focus.
hosted.
Yeah, since
Okay.
it was just me and Pete.
Okay. Well, let's do project focus then. And are they alphabetical? They're not alphabetical here. But let's start with Cordelia. Although you guys probably already discussed this a good bit last meeting, so maybe just a quick recap.
Yeah, a summary of we had a client meeting on Friday night, and Mohammed from Hatch After School had lots of ideas for content for us to carry on working on the workshops, and he had some suggestions for sites that he likes the way that the editor works with the code. The ways we can integrate those.
Okay, great. And over the weekend, obviously you know, but just for everybody else, we did some work on that editor. The way it works is there's now various points in the page where you can see the HTML and then edit it, and it will live update. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. I think we're trying to hold a meeting later to vote on some stories if everyone's available. And Pete, you said you're available after the Scrum?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so if anybody's interested, I think we'll have a Cordelia meeting right after this and start voting on some stories.
Nice. All right. Website 1.
Not a lot of changes, but I have merged in a couple of bug fixes yesterday, and I pushed them all the way up to production. So that fixed a couple of bugs, like the flash notification not always coming out red. I think that's because of the update to Ruby 2.1.1, and they changed how strings and symbols are compared. Anyway, so now it's properly fixed. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stories in Pivotal that are ready to accept. All of them bugs, really. I've also fixed the Mercury not loading on the first time. What else? Yes, I'm pretty pushed in a couple of fixes as well. Yeah, so lots of bug fixes happening in website 1. Other than that, I see a couple of stories have started. Not sure how those are coming along. Obviously, the ones that are taken by Thomas needs to be given to somebody else now. Sunpretty has a couple of refactoring stories. Not sure how that's going. A couple of other people have taken up stories, but yeah, don't know where those are going.
Yeah, there's been a bit of interest with Raphael trying to get involved with the refactoring of the stuff that Semprety was working on, or working with him on the refactoring that Semprety was working on.
Yep.
So we can get them to overlap time zones. Will be good.
Yeah, that's the only issue. Yeah, I know Rafael has expressed interest in refactoring a couple of things. That's why I suggested some pretty stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they'll find the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other, when an event starts, that it stay up, like on the little ticker.
Oh,
like
yeah.
For now, I don't know if I have it clicked on my screen. It should say Atlantic Scrum for like the next half hour.
Yeah.
So it should actually be a pretty easy story.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty simple.
All right. Next, I guess we'll go to local support. Um, Let me just jump over to the repo. Look at the pull requests. Yep, we just have a stack of pull requests. Some of these I could probably drop. They're just sort of overall refactorings of Cucumber. And some of them are specific to what we've recently been developing, like a little helper. And I have one thing that's a work in progress. One thing that we were doing, I think, late on Friday was trying to get a different sort of popover box for the icons on the map because we want to get more customization in there. Apparently, the CSS is limited, and we wanted to have a certain CSS style that matched what was happening in the index list of the volunteers. And so, last thing that I saw us do, I think it was Friday, was figure out how to get the different kind of box that's more customizable in there. But that's about it. I'm honestly not quite sure where development is going with the volunteer epic. I didn't finish listening to the meeting with Steve. I know there's a couple news stories in Pivotal Tracker, but does anybody else have anything to add about local support? I'm gonna look at.
No, I don't think anybody worked on it since your pull request on Friday that you sent me for the info window.
Okay. If that's the case, that's all the projects related to people we have. PK, I don't know if I've met you before.
I just joined. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks. I'm just testing it out. I'm doing the MOOC we're in week 1. So as part of that, Sam basically said go check out Agile Ventures.
Nice.
So I hope that's all right if I was just coming in as a listen only, and then as and when I come up to speed, I can contribute.
Absolutely. I joined after I took the MOOC, but I wish I had joined like during or before. Because the homeworks are great, but I was like, oh, I really want to try this other thing with my homework, but it's just a homework. I don't really want to commit to doing this cool refactoring thing. But we got projects here that are lasting for a long time. So if there's anything that you want to try out on a particular project, the local support project is, I think, matching the Rails version that the MOOC uses. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. And I'm actually dialing in from Australia. So do you have any suggestions on like which ones to go or which ones not to? Like,
which projects?
I'm still trying to get myself.
I would say that Website 1 and local support are the biggest projects that we have, and they're both kept to a fairly beginner to intermediate level. That being said, because there's a lot of code, it can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm lost. Like when I first came, I just didn't know what was going on with any of the code. It just takes a while to figure out what you can do. We have little bits and pieces of stories tracked in Pivotal Tracker. And the easiest thing to do is just to, whenever you're interested in pairing with somebody, to either open up a session of your own or just say something in the chat and see if anybody's around. And yeah. Right. So for projects, I guess we could talk about some of the other ones, although without Paul or Sam here, AutoGraders, I don't feel like there's a lot to say. I know that they were looking at Vagrant very closely for AutoGraders, and they had this guy who works with Vagrant professionally, it looked like, submit a pull request, which is awesome. Let me see if he's
Oh,
accepted.
Paul's here.
Paul is here. Perfect timing, Paul. Let me look at AutoGrader examples. No. Paul, you got a mic? No mic.
He must be having problems with connection.
Yeah. We still have those pull requests. No. Okay. I can't find those pull requests. But either way, it was exciting stuff to have someone we haven't met yet submitting a pull request. Unfortunately, it was the same one that Paul just submitted, but that means that we have twice as much good ideas on how to do it. So.
Are those for the Vagrant installs?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
I think VM Troopers is a little more extensive. Definitely does more different stuff.
What repo was that submitted to? I couldn't find it just now.
It was SaaSbook Courseware.
Courseware. And is that in Agile Ventures?
It's SaaSbook.
Oh, so it's not an Agile Ventures. Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. SaaS, you know. So, and then I'm going to try to do another one for HW repo, because Sam, I guess, was his only option was to install on Ubuntu 14, and he's having some inconsistencies, so we're going to try it on Ubuntu 14 box for Vagrant for the homework repo.
The homework repo is the Git immersion one?
Homework repo is the private one. Yeah. Unfortunately. Private.
Gotcha.
I mean, I could show it, but I just basically have to make a Vagrant file for it.
Nice.
And Pete's got some good stuff in his pull request. I don't know if you were looking at that. That's why it came up, but he's got stuff for echoing the PGA conf information, the Postgres information into the particular files that it needs to be in.
Yeah, I can't take much credit for that. Just copied it out of the local support install script.
Great. But thanks for submitting that back.
That's cool. I made 2 pull requests, one to SaaSbook Courseware and one to your repo pull. So if you want me to close one of them, I can do.
Sure, yeah. I never really have been looking at my repo, my personal repo, but I would definitely look at the other one. I will. Okay. I mean, I haven't exactly absorbed the pull requests, so I am a little hesitant to just close them yet, so I don't, forget what's
right.
going.
All right. Anything else for operators?
No. Not really.
All right. There's other projects listed here, but unless anybody wants me to, I don't think we'll go over them. Obviously, the biggest thing that is dragging Sam away is work with the MOOC, which is a big deal, and we all appreciate his efforts there. So, if there's nothing else, no other projects to discuss, I'm going to cut off the broadcast here and end the official meeting.